Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2 from Wardi's Team Liquid Map Contest 15 tournament. We force the best players in the world to peruse the thumbnail of a new map and then mostly do the same builds they were gonna do anyways in order to test them out. But occasionally we find something interesting, and interesting is definitely the best way to describe the map we're currently on. But first, let me describe the player in the bottom left. You like him? You like this video? You like his strategies? Or maybe the other way around. Especially after what he did tomorrow. But anyways, it is the Executioner from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Rogue. And in the bottom right, he's back. A fan favorite. Wears his heart on his sleeve. As well as his medevacs. Vulnerable. But exciting. Shopify Rebellion's very own world champion. It is Byun. Jimmy! No! Anyways, Treadmill. This is in the freestyle category of maps, the Team Liquid Map Contest. It's called Treadmill, not only because of the horizontal symmetry, where both players, kind of like Blackburn is the current example, Scrap Station, the initial one, way back. But the Treadmill towards the top of the map, near the most valuable bases, gold with double gas and speedulas, W-las, throughout in order to speed both air and ground units. There's also some mineral walls, some bubulas to slow things down, and the normal attack pass is definitely different. You got a lot of variety, a lot of space between the players, despite how fast you can move on that northern side of the map. It's an interesting twist on how usually these maps play out, the ones where you expand further away from your opponent. As a lot of the time, what is this? What are we doing here? What kind of operation are we? Okay. Looks like Byun doing his best Clem cosplay here. I'm gonna pick up 2 Zerglings, though I've never really understood why it's better to pick up Zerglings than potentially deny a creep tumor. Sometimes Clem and Byun managed to do both, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen here. It's one of my favorite submissions to the map contest, and I might be a little biased as a one of the judges of the maps, but glad to see it get to the finalists. And honestly was my favorite, because it's not like this crazy weird situation. Like, it's not broken. The map works. Like, there's no strategies that are just inordinately strong, at least at first glance, though. If both of these players are known for doing inordinately strong strategies that make things look, if not broken, abusive, painful, possibly in need of balancing, especially in the case of our Terran player, who got his signature unit nerfed not once, but twice. Essentially because him and only him, Byun and only Byun, was able to continue using them until they got the nerf bat a second time. And then he went to, blessedly, to Terrans, the Korean military obligatory service. So the Reapers went without a nerf for a couple years, and he hasn't really shown a need for a new one. But there's still time. There's still time. First Overlord getting taken out. Rogue not committing too many of his out on the map, as is customary. Byun going for the 3cc. Now, Rogue against Maru in just a GSL finals ago, just slapped Maru down with a big swell of roaches several times in order to win those finals. Maru trying to go 3cc over and over, didn't pan out. Byun has gone 3cc, no Banshee, He's adding on bio behind this, but Rogue shows no hint of a Roach Warren. Now, this is the map contest. There is a significant prize, but it's not like a ton of ESL points or anything. So I think the players do feel a little more free to, like, instead of just winning outright, winning with their more preferred style as opposed to the outright best one. Now, on a lot of these maps, players aren't going to get aggressive because they don't want to risk just losing the game because they didn't realize a tank could be on that high ground or a Nidus could get in that angle. Stuff like that. With all that said, we're going to boil it down to probably the most Heart of the Swarm possible compositions in this best of 3 here so far. Mutiling Bane up against Widowmines, Marines, and Medevacs. Following up a bit of Hellion pressure and a Viking. Rogue grabbing it. Brenda and her knitting crew creeping their way forward. Rogue is grabbing this gold base, which is on a significant distance away from the main. Byun's going to have a tough decision about which he goes for, but until the mutas come out, the Medevacs are a real threat. I think Rogue is kind of forcing the issue with that. Not often can Queens hold a watchtower in a game. Not often can they be relevant holding a watchtower. But here on Treadmill, okay, even the slowest units are fast enough not to judge. Byun coming up. He's got 62 SCVs, a perfectly capable economy. He's got a solid amount of Marines. Baneling speed is on the way, but it's still a little ways off. About halfway done. Now, Byun is just pressing in with Stim. He doesn't have 1-1, he doesn't have combat shields. He's trying to get some damage done, push back the creep, and whittle down either Queen Energy or ideally Queen Count. But Queen just, wow. Rogue missed so hard he transfused a creep tumor. The Widowmines forced Byun to pick up to avoid his own Widowmine friendly fire. 1-1 and Baneling speed finishing, kind of counteracting one another here. Byun going to try to use that edge, but the Baneling speed will immediately blunt it. Hellions, there is an armory. He's got +2 on the way, so Hellbat's on the way as a bit of a buffer, not as a timing. We've talked about Hellbat timings in the past. Gold base, under fire, about to be literal. Mutas, huge counterattack onto the third of Byun. He has a turret, good luck with that. The SCV's vulnerable. Enough Marines back at home. The bio army well spread. Muta's going to try to get damage done, but Byun has enough reinforcements to toss the Mutas out of his base. He's going to lose a few SCVs, but he gets the prize. He gets the goal. That's what he was looking for here with this attack. The Mutas are annoying. Oh, he hit a Marine. On top of that, well, Widowmine, and he finds damage on the Mutas. The Mutas are forced out of the base. Byun with a 25 supply lead. Rogue down to 3 bases. He's got a 4th in the top left, and now we're on the Treadmill. The Lingbane and the Bio. Everybody's on the Treadmill now. Oh, but is there detection? The Widowmine's a single Overseer. No Overlord speed either. Byun bringing the army together. Enough Mutalists here. Enough Mutalists to be a threat, but not a deadly one. He can't fight that army, not without a significant amount of Banelings. Byun has kept some of the Hellbats alive and is complementing with Widowmines. Adding a 4th command center and everything going pretty comfortably here for Byun. Slowed down only marginally by the Mutalists. Another, in the Bubula. Oh god, that Widowmine absolutely massacres a group of Marines. More of a morale issue than an actual stopping of this attack, but god, they could not get away. The Widowmines have been cleared up. Rogue does manage to grab a 4th. The Watchtower. Oh, is there burrow? No burrow. Yeah, the Watchtower working very much in favor of the Terran here. The Muta count high enough. Gonna go across the map, look for the production. There's only 1 turret in the main. Byun The turret, he could repair, but the Muta's already got a hold of it. SCV's vulnerable. Meanwhile, attack moving forward. Counterattack into the third. SCV's undefended. Reinforcements on the way. Muta's still in the main. Not nearly enough Marines to contest. Not right now. Byun was caught going the wrong direction. Maybe some select all army action as his third base is overrun. Rogue caught him literally. Where are you gonna go? You're in the middle of the map. He's going back. He's going forth. Make a decision. He's lost 13 SCVs. Byun caught, even with the treadmill. That just makes the waffling back and forth even more dramatic and a little telling here. He was caught completely off guard with that attack, even though it was pretty predictable. And now is forced to attack into a bit of an awkward scenario. He will cut a lot of this off. Remember, Byun is still maxed out. He's got 2-2 against just +1 Carapace. +1 attack is finishing, but Banelings through the W's! That's a lot of damage, but is it enough? The Mutas might be able to clean up the rest. The Medivacs themselves vulnerable. Will boost away, but evacuated a little too late. Reinforcements on the way. Byun evened on supply. There's only one Medivac left over. Those Marines hitting the needle and stimming forward, but without those Medivacs... Okay, here's Byun never hurting for Medivacs here. The Widow Mines did not get cleaned up, by the way. As soon as Byun notices those, he can put them in a mineral line. They're mostly undefended. Rogue bought himself time and a little space, but Byun's knocking on the door again. The Bubula's a bit of a problem here. The speed boosts and unboosts. Small Zergling counterattack. There's a handful, well, 51 SCVs. Meanwhile, Banelings rolling through. Not doing nearly enough damage against the 2-2 Marines. Widow Mines not firing. The Medivacs are already out of energy because of all those stims that everything was going through earlier. Another counterattack from Rogue. Something else to point out. No Hive. We're in that scenario, a very Heart of the Swarm-esque scenario. With +3 attack coming in. Oh, he just now finished +3 weapons. If Rogue could have managed to snipe the engineering bay with +3 weapons, he could have delayed what is potentially inevitable. But now Byun has that +3. He's got a 1, 2, 3 upgrade advantage. And he's gonna work it for all it's worth. Drops into the main. Rogue has a slight supply lead, mostly in workers. Speaking of workers, Byun's being massacred by the Mutalists back at home. A big Muta risk from Rogue, but it looks like it's paying off. The Thor left behind of all the units to leave in the main. Byun's defense is falling apart. His infrastructure is crumbling. It looks like Byun can't decide where he wants to go and or why. He's losing bases. Like, the Muta count is too damn high right now. A couple more Medivacs taken out. Byun just keeps flying Medivacs around. But he has yet to make a coherent decision on what to focus on. And even though his Marines are well upgraded, Rogue is not picking fair fights. He's just running them around. If he doesn't have the numbers, he runs away. And if he does, he overruns. There's a lot of running happening, but good thing we're on a treadmill. We're trained for it. The Zerglings and Banelings gonna close the distance off of creep. Gonna pick up a handful of the Marines. Great splits on the rest. Widowmine looking for a connection. Forces Rogue back. And the ridiculously cost-effective +3, +2 Marines. Still pushing through. +2 Carapace finished up, but the base is under attack. The creep is a bit of an issue, but enough Medivacs. Units that start with M. And that's all that's on the menu for Byun. We got Marines, Medivacs, Marauders, and Mines. He's just continuing them now, trying to rebuild his economy, down to 36 SCVs again. The Planetary vulnerable. The Widow Mine sniped. Byun gets another base, but loses essentially 2 of his own. He doesn't have the numbers to contest the Mutas. The Mutas don't even have upgrades. There's just a lot of Mutas. Like... Oh, the command center dies to Zerglings. That is not a great sign. It looks like Rogue will lose every battle, but he may very well win the war, as Byun is not stabilizing back at home. Rogue has lost half a dozen hatcheries across the map, but these 22 SCVs is not enough. The mutas keep dragging units back, and Byun can never press forward far enough. Like, the great splits from Byun, but there's just too many Zerglings, too many Banelings, too many Mutalisks. The Zerg are overwhelming. The Whittle Mines negated here. There's only one left over, the manual detonation to kill Whittle Mines. Those Bubulas really seem... Oh my god, another set of mines. It's just Marines and medevacs, the way God intended. And unfortunately, that's not... Well, I mean, like, it's still close, but not close enough. As Rogue leverages just way better. Byun never kept... He couldn't keep it together. He just, at every turn, one step forward and one step to the right, one step to the left. Like, make a decision. Where are you going? But that's the problem that Byun was facing. The struggle is that Rogue made it so there were no great options. We're going to Jacaranda. Jacaranda. You'll see in a sec. It's a 4-player map. Okay. And you know what that means. Another discussion about whether 4-player maps are completely unfair or whether we do like gambling in StarCraft. Jacaranda. Okay, well, you can see the name here. Above the minimap. In case people don't know, I know a lot of people don't know this, but there's a small version of the map in the bottom left, like a micro map, but it's hard to micro on, so it's just more like a miniature map, called a mini-map for short. Why did they switch colors? Oh my god. I know a lot of players don't know about this, but you can see that over the top there. One of the several 4-player maps in the TLMC. It does appear that vertical spawn positions are enabled. Rogue is sending... So, without getting into the whole discussion about whether or not 4-player maps are ever... Well, if you ask 9 out of 10 pro players, that 10th pro player being... someone very different. But like 9 out of 10 pro players would be like, we should play on like Cloud Kingdom or Overgrowth and remake that more than Batman movies. That's what we should do. And a lot of maps do end up being Cloud Kingdom or Overgrowth. In fact, Overgrowth, not even the original Overgrowth, more like Daybreak, but in a vertical. Anyways. And then the most iconic, I think, 4-player map, the one that was played for quite a while, and even Legacy of the Void, was Frost, which had quite some exciting games. But at the end of the day, there is a chance, especially relevant to Protoss players, but in general, there's a chance you just won't see what your opponent is doing for X amount of time. Or you hurt your economy by sending out extra scouts of some fashion. I personally think 4-player maps, if done okay, and this map I think is alright, definitely add some variety. I mean, any sort of crazy map. It's great for spectating. Like and subscribe, right? Like, the players, though, StarCraft is such a refined game. And such a... It's kind of figured out to the extent that players define mechanical skill, just the ability to execute the build and the strategy and the tactics. That's kind of held up higher than strategic cunning, I guess, is a way to put it. AKA the ability to do sneaky, cheesy builds and get away with it and sneak wins off players who most people would say are better than you. There are two sides to it. Speaking of strategic cunning here, which is just maybe too many times saying those words, but we have Byun, who I don't know if he denied the Overlord Scout, but he's doing a 3 racks stim opener. This is usually reserved. Byun's like, okay, I like the Marines. Full stop. He looked at his build last game. He's like, okay, the Marines, good. So this time, it looks like we're just going to make Marines. He's got a factory on the way, but the medevacs are far off, so... we'll see if he waits to move out. He did not scout. Byun did not scout at all. He didn't even bother. At some point, it seems like he will scout. That point maybe now. But this is the furthest he's been outside his base so far, which is kind of a typical Terran move. Rogue, on the other hand, he did scout the command center building, and since air units have more vision than ground units, because they fly, only slightly, that means Byun didn't see the... Well, very likely didn't see the OV. Though I'm not 100% on that. He may have glimpsed it with the SCV if Rogue wasn't quick enough. It's hard to tell. But Rogue has seen more than 2 Marines, okay? What does that tell him? That tells him that there's more than 2 Marines, which tells him it's likely a medevac push or a stim push. And also, important fact, he knows he's playing against Byun. So that kind of also ups the chances. And what that in turn means is a Baneling nest is on the way and a whole group of Zerglings. Well, every single larva is being thrown into Zerglings now. And I imagine as soon as that Baneling nest completes, we're gonna see a lot of Banelings as well. As right now, I think Rogue is expecting an attack immediately. Otherwise, you wouldn't be making these Zerglings now. You want to shut down that first attack, whatever it is. Oh yeah, there's a lot of rocks in the center that deny anything but the open... This is a beautiful little symmetrical area. Yeah, the rocks are what are here to deny a super quick rush distance for the more close positions attacks, in an attempt to balance out the different sort of starting positions. But it does appear Byun knows which direction he's going. The creep usually doesn't spread from the opposite direction. Rogue isn't that crazy. The medevacs are here. Byun has really boiled down his build, hasn't he? He's got 2 medevacs and 38 Marines. And this is about as Byun as it gets. There's no Bane speed. There are Banelings. Will that matter? Oh, but the Zerglings from the back! Oh, no! Oh, Rogue was ready! Oh, not getting away with it this time. Byun thought he was just having a gentlemanly Marine push. Get his aimbot on to target down the Banelings, and then the Zerglings come around the back, and suddenly... Oh, things get a lot more uncomfortable. Yeah. So, this is why we don't do builds straight out of 2011 anymore. As fun as they are. Alright, another medevac. Get off my lawn! Easily dealt with. Yeah, a little optimistic on making just Marines. Well, he's made a tank now, so... honestly, not really a fan of the strategic variety Byun is showing us. Byun is a Terran's Terran. He's always been. He's been the Terran who will micro his way out of the situation or die trying. And right now, Rogue is the one killing him. Okay? It looks like it might be the second thing right now. As Baneling speed is already done, that is with creep that takes multiple scans just to get even close to the base, as well as having Baneling speed already done. Like, this is not it. It's not it. It's not gonna happen. Alright, he's making 2 more medevacs. He's making a bunch more Marines. Oh, here we go. Rogue is getting his upgrades quicker. He's got 66 drones, comfortable 3 base economy with 5 hatches. Like, okay, Byun. Alright. Alright. Okay. Where are we going now? Pack it up. He's building a Liberator, which, like, is not a medevac, so I guess that's something. He's gonna try to use the high ground, but Rogue has more than enough Zerglings for both sides of the story right now. Actually, the Banelings are left alone, which is a little awkward. There is no third command center for Byun this game either. Okay, I meant fourth. No, I didn't. I meant third. I just didn't look at the mini-map. I won't lie to you. Honesty. From the cat, I just didn't see it. I thought it would be in his main, or he would go to another direction. But of course, Byun is expanding forward because he's going to continue to make Marines and try to push into Rogue. And maybe it works. But last game, he was ahead. Several upgrades. He was ahead 30-40 supply. And Rogue, with the same unit composition, dismantled him. Which does not inspire me with confidence that this game will be any different. Well, this is an awkward time for the Liberator to show up. I like the medevac boost, though. Like, he was gonna save the Liberator. Oh, you get... Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, one Liberator is not gonna save the day. He's adding on some more. At some point, you have enough medevacs. Like, double-digit... Medevacs for all is a great policy to have, but at some point, it's excessive. Like, right now, Byun at 6... Honestly, 6 medevacs is maybe a little low for a maxed-out army, but Byun ain't there. Rogue, on the other hand... You're looking down a Zerg who's expanding almost unchecked. Yeah, this is... Alright. We got some boys stranded on the other side of the map. I'm gonna call their families. But sir, we could set... No. Families. And see if they have any more sons. Sir. Have you considered mech? Don't say those words in my house again! Next thing you know, we'll be building widow mines. I will not have any of these cure builds in my Terran army. He's gonna try to send everything home. The Banelings, I don't think Rogue cares about any of this. It looks like he will evacuate. This is gonna be an awkward situation for everyone at home. Fortunately, almost everyone at home will not remember the bureaucratic drama of the past because the Banelings killed most of the units that started with M. 19 SCVs die. The armies join up again. Byun has a lot of Marines. He's got 68 Marines. He's got 6 tanks. He's pushing in towards the natural. The thing is, the map is so large, Rogue doesn't even need his main. He'd like it, but he could rebuild if he needed to. Once again, the mutas, we've seen this before. The queens are pulled away. Oh my, what is this ramming? Well, it's a bit of a firing squad for the queens, but that's just a historical reenactment. Unfortunately, the SCVs are transferred directly into the Mutalists. Byun is going to once again push forward in what is essentially an all-in. He has the upgrades, but does he have the numbers? The Mutas have ransacked, eviscerated, and obliterated the economy. The Marines are stranded with no reinforcements, and it feels like Byun wouldn't have it any other way. The Mutas will head back. He's going to drop some mules. He has 1 SCV more than he started with. He sniped the Bane Nest, which is definitely something. But it feels like this is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy with the Korean Terran here. Like, no matter what happens, we're going to have a bunch of Marines and tanks in a last stand. 20 drones die. Which brings Rogue to, like, his production is cut off. But there are still 19 mutas. Bringing death from above. Marines are stimming so much, the mutas just easily slice through them. Like, I don't know how this keeps happening, but there's like 4 or 5 medevacs, Marines and tanks, and oh well. This is not good. All right. Okay. I mean, the splits are amazing. And of course they are. And oh my god. Really? No, there's no way he has enough Marines. And once again, it's just barely not a reinforcements! Oh! Byun refuses to stop. And now if only he had any economy at all. The Queen's forced to retreat. Byun just will not go down without a fight. But, like, he can build 4 Marines at a time. Rogue is kind of feels like a little bit of disbelief here, but Byun is on creep. Like, it can't last forever. He can target the Banes. If there are no more Banes, the Marines will just be tearing through everything. Byun, like, once again, there are just too many hatcheries to kill. There's just not enough. There's 14 SCVs. Byun has no leg to stand on, but as long as he has Marines to stim, the Baneling's targeted. In the cocoons, there's only 1 Bane with the army. That's not enough. The second Baneling nest. He's doing it. It's happening. The Bane nest, there's only 1 more Baneling in this army. He doesn't have a Baneling nest. If Byun can target that 1 Baneling, he can win this fight. That Baneling he gets it. Oh, the medevacs are dead. The Marines will, he's stimming. Okay, I take it back. I don't know where the medevacs went, but the medevacs are gone. I don't know how this keeps happening. Those are changelings. Though they were so inspired by the Terran Marines, they felt solidarity. Rogue's tech tree has been chopped down, but he was able to salvage a few acorns from it and replant it in the other side of the map. Because there's essentially twice as much map as usual. So, like, Byun in his comfort zone. Hey guys, how are you doing? Are you ready to go fight again? Hey, wait, does anybody hear that? Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! Oh, those Marines are pretty sus. I think I've seen a Carbot episode about that. But, like, how does Byun do, like, the willpower to drag the game into this scenario? The thing is, Rogue almost crumbled. Byun almost brought it there. But it's not 2016 anymore. Zergs are like, Rogue of all people knows how to get the win. It almost fell apart. He was almost able to cut off the production and isolate enough of the tech and economy to shatter, like, make it so Rogue could never get a critical mass. But Rogue had already torn the heart out of his economy. It's been running on artificial mules this whole time. He's been... Ouch. What a game. Byun, but... Unfortunately, or fortunately, that ends kind of how you'd expect. A lot more dramatically. Well, maybe just as dramatically, but Byun once again. Playing some very exciting Terran. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe. Because I'm sure that does something. Thank you to Wardi and the Team Liquid map contest for letting me be a part of all this. And I hope you enjoy these videos. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.